There is a brand new Christmas story capturing attention across New Jersey and beyond. Joining us this morning is Scott Mehno, who is New Jersey author of the new book, Shorte List. The novel blends holiday spirit with a modern twist, featuring an AI hologram of Charles Dickens. Very cool idea, and it's already gaining a lot of buzz. Short List has been optioned for film development by a producer, and Scott is kicking off a multi city holiday book tour right here in New Jersey. And we say to you, good morning, Scott. Uh-oh, Pam, we
On.
have, there we go. Now we got you. We
Okay.
got it. We got it. Now I
Okay.
got it. Thanks. I love it when the gremlins try to get us and they don't. Scott,
Right.
good to have
It's
you on.
great.
What is this Christmas story about, and how does New Jersey fit into it? Because it sounds like a great twist.
Yeah. Well, it's about an inventor dad who has been working for the past 7 years on an AI Charles Dickens. He happens to live in a small town, and the town's hit some hard times. It's a Jersey town, like all the great Jersey towns that we have throughout the state. And it takes the whole plot of the book takes place on Christmas Eve, where he's about to have a presentation. A billionaire mogul is flying in, but it turns out that he has a 9-year-old daughter, and she doesn't really worry too much about AI right now. She wants to go out and look for Santa Claus, so she heads out in a Christmas Eve blizzard, and the dad is torn between doing his presentation for this mogul or going out and finding his daughter. And of course he goes out and searches for his daughter, and then all kinds of holiday hijinks ensues.
I love that. I love holiday hijinks because we all know about holiday hijinks in our individual lives, I'm sure. Well, one of the
Yes.
most unique elements, of course, we're talking about this, the AI hologram Charles Dickens. So how did this futuristic Dickens character work with the story? And where did you come up with that? The whole concept is brilliant.
Well, it's interesting because I started writing the book about 8 or 9 years ago, and AI was on the radar, but certainly it didn't, wasn't exploding like it is today. And by the time I finished the book, it turned out that suddenly, it was on everyone's horizon. And I would say how I got the story about Charles Dickens that is obviously he's been such a great influential author to every writer that's come after him. He was the first author to write about impoverished people. And he was also the first writer to do a book tour. And he never actually read his book in New Jersey, but in the late 1860s, he did 76 shows. And he was the first writer. He was kind of our first rock star. And
Mhm.
women would faint at his readings. There was lines around the block. There were scalpers, which at that time were called speculators. And I also did a lot of research in Dickens' letters, and he could be quite cantankerous and quite sarcastic. So I thought, what a great idea would be to make an AI Dickens who not only is going to, walk and talk and spin tales like the famous author of A Christmas Carol, but also spurn fools and kind of, he was a very funny character. So that's how that came about.
So I'm wondering if the term "scare the Dickens out of you" comes from that. Is that where that comes from? Is
It
is it
does.
because of? There you have it. Interesting. See, only old
Absolutely.
folks like us even remember that phrase. But I'm with you 100%. So the book has already been optioned for film development by a Hollywood producer. So what was it like to get a call from a Hollywood producer who says, "Yeah, you know what? This would make a great film."
Well, as you can see, I'm not a young man, and I've been writing for a long time, but this is my first published novel. I've written a lot of fiction. I would either put it in a drawer because I didn't think it was good enough, or I would send it out, and I got a lot of rejection letters. When I was working on this one, I kind of knew that I had a pretty good idea. And a friend of mine was one of the first readers, and she said, "You know what? I know a producer who's looking for a Christmas story." And we sent the galley to him, and it was amazing. I got a call back in about 2 days, and he said, "I want to make this
Wow.
into a film." It's a long process, but they have written 2 drafts of the script. So we're moving along, and that's been another very exciting kind of sidebar of this whole project.
That is awesome. And you never think your stuff's good enough, right? You never think, and you
No,
put it aside. And so many people have said, just send it out. Because the worst that'll happen is you'll learn from the rejection, right? Somebody will critique you and you'll say, okay, those are great
Ex-
ideas. I'll change.
exactly. That's why I always say I get a lot of questions. I'm doing a reading tour from young writers or aspiring writers, and my one big piece of advice is don't ever give up, ever. You could be 20, you could be 90. If you think you have a story in you, go for it.
Absolutely. Now you're going to make 8 book tour stops in New Jersey from now through mid-December. When's your first one and where's it going to be?
My first one is in Milburn on December 4th at the Book House. And then on December 5th, I'm at the Barnes and Noble at Menlo Mall in Edison, New Jersey. And then I just wanted to mention a couple other places. On December 13th, I'm at the Town Bookstore in Westfield. And I want to give a shout out to Lisa Schwartz, who's the owner of that bookstore. It's the oldest bookstore in New Jersey. And she is a wonderful supporter of new writers, authors, people who love books. So I was very fortunate. She was one of the first people to embrace my book. She put it in her bookstore, and it's been selling very well. And I also want to mention on December 20th, I'm at the Community Cafe in Union, New Jersey, which is a wonderful cafe, very cozy and warm. We're going to have hot chocolate. I'm there at 2 o'clock, and we're going to do a fun reading there, and I hope to get a good crowd.
And thank God for the bookstores that those old bookstores like the Strand in New York and your friends in New Jersey, because they survived the onslaught of Amazon and Barnes and Noble. No offense to those folks. And the fact that we have online selling, but they survived because of how great they are in the connection with the community. What's a website for people to buy Shortlist if they want to get more information or for just in
Sure.
general more?
You could go on scottmehno.com. That's SCOTTMEHNO. Also, my publisher, tmabooks.com. I also want to give a shout out to Tracy Miller, who is my publisher and has done a great job supporting me.
It's
And you
called,
can also go on my
there you go.
social
It's
media,
called
which is Instagram and
we're
Facebook.
about to hit commercial. That's why I got to cut you off. It's called Shortlist. Catch author Scott Mehno and his book tour. Scott, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. And we're
Thank you.
coming
Happy
right back
holidays.
on New Jersey Mornings. You too.